Live right now. Shrink. Happy Boxing Day, everybody. Happy day, happy day. I'll bring that back up in a second. Good day to everyone out there in Twitter land and YouTube land and probably hanging out with your family and not here land. Hey, Danielle, what's shaking? What do you want to do? What do you want to sing tonight? Huh? Every time I see you now, get that look in my eye. Every time I see your mouth, I hear that smile. In the early misty morning, light of the engine turning in the old Ford outside. Will you leave it late again today? You convince me again today. Leaving this hot town, looking for someone else's golden ring. Jose, so long, Susanna. Hush now, don't you cry. So long, Susanna. Don't you cry for me. Sharing jeans and cigarettes and keeping warm out on the road. Chasing down a lifestyle out on Highway 24. New York State was a rolling breeze in the sunshine with a blue sky falling to the chill of old September creeping in. Will you leave it late again today? You would convince me again today. You're leaving this hot town looking for someone else's golden ring. Should have said so long, Susanna. Hush now, don't you cry. So long, Susanna. Don't you cry for me. Good Lord, that was lovely. Lovely singing, Champ Shannon. They should book you at the Grand Ole Opry. Get you a real guitar player. You know what I'm saying? Good evening, everybody. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. Let me flip my cameras here so I'm looking at everyone at the same time. Right there, right down the pipe. Welcome. I'm Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. And man, tomorrow, the hell am I doing with my life? Wait, how can you see me? There? There? Yeah. Well, hang on. Over here, we'll do like this. There you go. So, okay, now you can see me. The hell am I doing with my life? So tomorrow, we're starting this what's now become an annual tradition of giving a ridiculous amount of value for no money. So tomorrow begins AI Festivus. So if you don't know what AI Festivus is, that's what tonight's gonna be all about. We've got Ann Murphy and I. Ann Murphy's from She Leads AI, and myself representing the AI Salon, are putting on this thing, AI Festivus. So it starts at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. We go for 12 hours because we know how to live. And we've got 34 speakers over 24 sessions in 2 days. So it's all day Friday, and then it's all day Saturday. Doesn't cost you a penny. You just got to go register, hang out. And we're going to bring, Ann's going to come in a bit. We're going to talk to Ann. I think Cindy Kuhn's coming. I think we might have some other folks coming. And we're going to bring people up and just hear what they have to say and what they're going to talk about tomorrow. We'll do all that. So while we're getting things set up and waiting for people to show up, feel free to ask any questions. The howling is always my favorite. The howling really is the best part. Champ is the only one that's ever on key. Oh, man. All right. Ms. Annie, I'm looking forward tomorrow. I'll be there first thing in the morning, 9 a.m. PST. I'm so excited. So it's a great idea is to do what Miss Annie's doing. Just show up tomorrow at 9 a.m. for this thing. And it's basically going to be one 12-hour, session, just workshop after workshop. So each workshop will go, and then it ends when it ends. We'll take a little break. So between each workshop's a little break. And we're just going to go all day. And the way I think about it is, if you can do it, just have it on in the background. And if something sounds interesting to you, lean in. And if not, just let it be there in osmosis and hear what people are talking about. Really exciting. Call me Al. I'm up at 4 a.m. for the start. Cannot wait. That's awesome. That's really fantastic. Wow, that's very, very cool. I thought you were going to say Champy. Champy is the only one who has ever howled. No, I howl all the time. It's just mine are never on key. It's like I can sort of hold a tune, but sort of. Will you be recording the sessions for replay? We will, Techie Becky. We're going to record the whole thing, and we're going to have we've created a standalone space for Festivus on the AI Salon. So during the day, people can hang out and they can chat and they can do show and tell. So we've got a whole area there that we're going to talk about. And actually, if you're here tonight and you're part of the salon, go check out. It's the space right below the welcome space at the very top is AI Festivus 2024. Sign up for that space. You can join the conversation. You can do the show and tell. But also, that's where all the resources are. So as speakers provide us with their speaker notes, and as we do the recordings and things like that, they're going to all be available on the salon first. And if you don't know what the salon is, shame on you. Shame on you. It's so bad. Go to the salon.ai and then click on, there's a button there that says join our community. And if you go there, that's the AI Salon. It's a community of more than 2,000 AI optimists and creators and builders and some technologists, a lot of creatives. It's really an amazing group. So that's going to be the kind of networking during the day will happen at the salon. The workshops will happen throughout the day on a Zoom webinar session. And yeah, it's going to be just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. Johnny, tell him what he's won. Hang on. Excuse me. Oh, man. All right. So, how was everyone's holiday? Or how is everyone's holiday? I guess we're all in the middle of it right now, aren't we? I'm still fighting with ChatGPT not responding to me. ChatGPT was down for hours today. I went to talk to my girlfriend Quinn, and she was just a black dot. She never materialized. I had 4 or 5 questions I needed answered today, and I was at a loss. I do not know how to use my brain anymore. It's so funny. People early on would ask questions like, well, if this tool's so creative, aren't you going to be less creative? And like what ends up being the case is you end up being more creative and you end up being more intellectually stimulated. So long as you've got the tool by your side, the minute it's gone, you're like, what am I supposed to do here? How does so that's, that's that. Vicky had luck all day today. Good. Only had a couple of brief hiccups on mine today. Yeah, it was down hard. It was everything, including Sora, was down. It was like all their servers were down. So I don't know what they did, but it weren't pretty. It was nice to have Claude as a backup or Gemini. I mean, that's the thing is there's so many of these tools now that it's just crazy. That Chinese company Qwen, I think it's Qwen, QWEN, I think is the name of the company. They launched today an open source model with all the weights. So it's basically you have the keys to the kingdom with it. That is better than GPT-4, almost as good as Claude Sonnet for coding, and it's much smaller, and it was trained on, it was like 2,000? Yeah. 2,000 GPUs, a very small amount, basically $5.5 million of compute over 2 months. And they created a model that's as good as the biggest frontier models right now. And it's a really interesting thing because I don't know if you remember, but Congress passed a law that said the chips that we sell to China have to have their super powerful stuff decommissioned. We can't send them the good stuff, right? What it did was it forced them to innovate with less powerful chips. So now they're creating models as good as our models for like $5 million, which, to just you and I sounds like a lot of money, but to the $10 billion that OpenAI blew through in about a week and a half, $5 million is nothing. Fascinating. What the hell? Who signed me into this account? All right, let's see what we got. All right, Brandon is back. Very nice. Good to see you. All right, so anybody has any questions, pop them in the comments below when we get Ann and We got Cindy, we got Nate St. Pierre coming. We'll bring them up on stage and we'll talk turkey about AI Festivus. By the way, if you're new here, this is the AI Learning Lab, and tomorrow starts this thing, AI Festivus. If you have not registered for this, do it. Teton Skier. If I win the Mega Millions tomorrow, I'll pay all the Festivus bills. That's good, actually, Teton Skier, because so a funny thing happened on the way to putting together a little workshop-a-thon that we organized in 2 weeks. A couple of things. One is Anne and the team that put this thing together in 2 weeks, this does not look like a 2-week event. I contributed some ideas to it, but the execution of this thing just really happened incredibly quickly and incredibly well. So if you go to aifestivus.com, you just register right there. The conversion rate to register for this thing is bonkers. It's like 60, 70% from people that go to the website to register. Websites do not convert like that. Also, we were hoping that maybe we would have, I don't know, 300, maybe 400 people register, and then maybe half that would show up. Because that was, last year, I think we had 100, 150 for GPT for Good. We have had more than 2,500 people sign up. It's absolutely amazing. So anyway, so go register for that. Now, speaking of that, it looks like we have got some people here. Let's bring some people up. Let's bring some people up. Yo!
Hello.
Hi. Cindy Coon, Josh, are you late? You're not late. You're early.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's Festivus. Here are two of our speakers. Hello, hello. I'm so excited. So why don't you each just introduce yourself quickly? Just give us a little sneak peek of what you're going to be talking about, and then let's just jam a little bit. I want to hear what's going on. How are the holidays? All that sort of stuff. But why don't we do some intros first?
You got it, Cindy.
Okay, I'll go. Hi, all. I'm Cindy, and I'm psyched. So I'm actually up for the Festivus Day on Saturday. I will be on in the Saturday afternoon. And I'm talking about AI mindset, and what we're specifically going to do together is build an AI mindset tool belt.
Ooh.
So you're going to take the AI mindset goodies and you're going to make a tool belt with images and everything.
And so AI mindset is what? Just what is that? Yes. Give me one or two specific things that actually means.
Yep. So it's 8 different elements, and it's the idea that if you are open-minded and collaborative and brave and bold and curious and all of these things, you are going to have a better time of it. And if you are not those things, the AI world is going to be tougher on you. So the idea is jump in, be open-minded. We're going to walk through those things that should be on your tool belt for mindset. So not AI tools that you need to use, but what is the space your mind needs to be in so that you're open to all the tools.
I think that's so important. I mean, it's this channel started essentially as a tool channel. Here's a cool tool. Here's how to use it, right? And I think you and I met essentially geeking out on tools. Totally. And I think where you and I have both gotten is, one, you can't keep up with them, and two, it's not about the tools, right? It's about what you do with them and all that sort of stuff. So that's super exciting. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Good. Thank you. And Josh, let me unmute you here. There's a little background noise, so I muted you. So
all good. Hey, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, man.
Hi, I'm Josh. I will be talking about simplifying the AI adoption process from a consulting perspective to like client relationships. So we've found over the past couple of years through doing this on the consulting side, just how noisy everything gets when you jump around tools, when you jump around
Mm.
kind of a tech perspective first, instead of just like helping people figure out what should they do or could they do with the tools.
Yep.
So we're sharing what we've learned. We're inviting people to kind of walk with us in this new, like my new rule and like path forward is far less jargony and consulting complicated and rather just meeting people where they're at, focusing on quick wins because the quick wins can build momentum and that momentum can lead to true change versus the kind of like structured change management, top down leadership approach that we started with for a couple of years. We just found there's an easier way that actually makes an impact. So I'm really excited to share on Saturday. I think it's like, mid afternoon.
That's great.
Eastern, I guess, middle of the day Pacific.
Okay, cool. And what are you seeing? And Cindy, jump in because I'd like to hear what you're seeing as well. Are you seeing? So here's where my question's coming from. Last year we did a similar kind of event to this. We had 150 people. This year we've got 2,500 have registered. Now part of that is we had an influencer or two boost us, which helped a lot. And I also think that 2,500 people registering for something on the weekend between Christmas and New Year's is weird. It's like, it's weirdly high. And so I'm just curious if you, Josh, start with you and then you, Cindy, are you seeing any shift in your client base? Either they're more hungry or they're more ready. Is there any of that shift happening, you feel?
Definitely. I think the appetite of like, I say normal business person, and I mean it in the best way possible versus like tech bro.
Yeah.
Normal business people are now like entering their early adopter phase. So what I look at for the past 2 years, everything that's happened with Gen AI specifically has been like early adopters and techies getting all excited and being willing to try something new and test something that doesn't quite work yet.
Yeah.
And now that there's a lot more convincing intelligence available, I think the world is waking up and people are starting to have FOMO. And I think the FOMO of like, what if we don't do something like we missed 2024? Business leaders are thinking this, at least the ones we're working with.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything, or we don't know what everybody's doing on our team, and we want to just figure it out now. So it feels like there's a whole new wave of people waking up to what is the stuff. They're learning how to spell AI. They're learning how to basically start to look and investigate themselves. But what they're finding is now that there's 2 years worth of noise and jargon and people in the tech space like pushing for this, it's very, very hard to just like focus on what matters, figure out what's going to work. And then everybody keeps asking the same question, at least from our side, which is where do we start and what should we like, what should we do? Like, what's the use case is the thing we hear the most.
Yeah, exactly. Are you, would you say that there's more activity from the FOMO perspective, is there more activity in the C-suite, middle management, or like rank and file execution folks?
I think middle management is where I've at least worked with most people, just because they're getting pressure from the top down. Like they're getting asked.
Learn AI, boy.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, maybe, and what I'm hoping is we're in the end of that phase, and it's more like executives like, wait, what is this? I should know.
Oh yeah.
Like, because we got a lot of
excellent.
projects that were like, hey, middle manager, go figure this out and report back to us.
Yeah.
And then we found like this was a big catalyst for my shift in focus from like the tech side to like the teaching side, or more training, I say, than teaching, because we don't just do education. We like work with people to build their skills. The pressure that's coming from board of directors, from C-suite, is really heavy on middle management. They're trying to figure out the answers to these questions. You know, how is your team using AI? We put the AI initiative forth. We've invested in everybody's accounts. What's everybody doing? So middle managers are looking for answers, and by and large, consultants are giving 100-page documents that are implementation strategies of not just by ChatGPT, but also automation, but also data lake, but also over tech transformation. And that's not really a good answer. What we found is it doesn't answer the question of what should we be doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How about you, Cindy? And I've got CJ and Michelle here, so I'm going to bring them up soon. And we can, I'm happy to do this either way. If you guys want to hang out, you're welcome to hang out. We can have just keep growing this conversation. But also, if you want to go do like family things, you're welcome to check out. So, but I just want people to get a chance to meet you. But Cindy, what are you seeing on the adoption front? And you do a lot of work in government stuff, but now you're doing more private sector as well, as far as I understand. So, just tell me what you're seeing in your wacky world.
Yeah, I mean, most of my work is government, military, government agencies, but I do some corporate commercial enterprise stuff. And I'll tell you, kind of a springboard off what Josh was saying, what I'm seeing more than anything is it's a permission space. So for the first time in this 2-year run, I'm finally seeing both professional and personal. And I think Josh was saying there's this sort of intelligence collected enough over 2 years that there's proof now that, okay, this one, it's not going away. 2, maybe some people are getting some good stuff out of it. So I'm not seeing any sense of full adoption. I will say that. By permission space, what I mean is same thing Josh is seeing. I'm seeing C-suite looking down saying, okay, now we're going to give you guys some permission to get in there and play. And what that's requiring, though, which is why I'm really interested in AI mindset, is you told all these people for the last 2 years, students, employees, everybody, everywhere, don't touch it. It's bad. It's
AI's evil.
And now you're saying, oh, well, maybe we need you, employees, students, everybody. Maybe we need you to get in there and mess with it. Well, how are we going to get over that hurdle of you scared the crap out of them for 2 years that it was dark and evil?
Yeah.
So I think right now we're at a space where it really is about little permission slips to enter to play. And so everybody I'm working with, they are nowhere near the point of actually learning the tools or actually engaging in a real project yet. They're now just realizing, okay, the only way to step in is little ounces of play here and there. And everybody gets permission for those play experiences. And that's kind of where everybody else is.
Fascinating. I'm really curious. I personally don't think that any of those things can be a success if the C-suite isn't playing as well.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're both saying, yeah, you guys go figure it out. Like it just, so that just says to me, we're still early. Let me bring up, do either of you want to run or you want to hang out?
I'll hang.
Hang? Great. Let me bring up Michelle and CJ. CJ, what's happening?
Hi, everybody.
Hello. So we're just going to slowly grow this conversation. So what Cindy and Josh have already done is introduce themselves and what their role is in AI Festivus and what their role is just in life. So I'd love for you both to just jump in and do the same. Who would like to go first? Ladies first or CJ? What do you think?
Ladies first. I defer to the good person from Empowered by AI.
Fantastic. Hey, Michelle.
Aw, thank you. Well, I am Michelle Muncie Silva, Empowered by AI, a podcast host, and I have been really coming to all of this learner first because I am soaking up everything, like what Cindy just said, what Josh just said, absolutely loving that and can echo some of that as well, talking to all of these women that I've been interviewing on the podcast. It's just been, I think Kyle used the word earlier, hungry. It's like I really did think when I first started out interviewing people, God, I hope I can find 12 women that are really willing to talk about how they're moving AI forward and they're moving their businesses forward with AI. And now I think I'm going to have to start running bi-weekly episodes just to keep current, because there are so many women that are like, wait a minute. And I found, kind of to echo what you both said earlier, is that there's different layers of experimenting with AI that people are ready to talk about. We have people that are consultants like Cindy, like Josh, that want to come to the table and want to talk. And then we also have these people that are business owners implementing in small steps. And so they not only want to listen to the podcast to hear from women about how women are also doing this, but they also want to be able to shed a little light and share their challenges, what they're struggling with. And so it's been really interesting to watch this kind of format unfold with the podcast. We've become almost two-tiered in the way we do our interviews, in that sometimes we're talking to people that have been in the field for a really long time and have a lot of experience to share. And then on the other hand, we're talking to women who are talking about, okay, here's what I'm struggling with right now. This is what I'm doing to try to get through that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's like, I think one of the things that's hit me recently is Gen AI is not AI. So if you've been in AI for decades, Gen AI is a different thing, right? Post ChatGPT, the world is different. They're general purpose models, right? And it changes things. And I think that idea of, and this is one of the things I'm so excited about for Festivus. It's like we've got people talking about kind of everything from every angle. And like that's part of the joy. We've got members of 4 different communities have come together to just volunteer their time this weekend to talk from all these different points of view. And I experienced this in the early days of the web, but I'm experiencing it kind of really intensely here, that sometimes people come in with what they think is something that's really obvious to them and really they think it's non-important. And they share, well, I just figured out this little nugget, right? And they think, well, but that's just obvious because that's what I know. And then everyone else on the call is like, oh my God, that's mind blowing. I never would have thought about it like that. So I think that's just, it's just an incredible time. So congrats on the podcast. And it's really exciting to hear that the cup runneth over. That's really good.
Yeah, it's been a joy.
That's awesome. CJ.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Again, I'm CJ Fletcher, African-American male with black and gold hair and a black and white goatee. I will be at Festivus leading the Life Beyond Midjourney section of the day tomorrow. And what I will be going over is narrative storytelling when it comes to image making. Part of my background has been a storyteller, and so I have changed the way that I tell my stories so that now they're all on one sheet of pieces of paper, digital or otherwise. So I will be going into the ins and outs of my workflow for those of you who are looking to step up a little bit with your image making. Maybe there are things that you haven't thought about that I might bring to you. And maybe within the conversation, there are ways that you are going to enlighten me that some things that maybe I haven't thought about when it comes down to my generative art. I run City Under Siege Designs, and I've gotten some stuff around the globe here and there. And other than that, I'm just looking forward to it. Really, this is going to be a lot of fun for me to watch everybody talk about things that I know zero about, because I just make pretty pictures, and I love hearing all the technical sides of stuff.
Yep. Well, and I want to push back a little bit on something with you. The I just make pretty pictures thing. You don't just do anything. So CJ is like, when CJ explained at an AI salon meeting, I don't know, this was probably close to a year ago. He goes, oh, here's how I made this art. And he showed us this beautiful art. And then he walked us through the process of it. And it melted my brain, because as an ADHD guy, I just make art. Like, I'm like, if I'm 2 or 3 prompts in, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm done. I'm good. And I just publish what's out there. Your workflow is remarkable. You run deep because you have a very specific thing you're trying to achieve in mind. Yes?
Yes, I do. And it's interesting over the past 365 how workflow changes and gets refined as the technology expands. I'm finding that it's catching up a little bit to what's the stuff that's the crazy things that are going around in my noggin. So it's getting a little easier to get some of that flow out of here onto a screen. But there are still times when I have to run very large iterations. I'm looking at a page over here with about 60 of one image that I'm just working on at the moment for a gallery.
Yeah. And just one quick question. About a year ago, it's one of the favorite things anyone's ever said to me. You said to me, "My goal is in 5 years to be in MoMA." Is that still a goal? And are you on track?
100%. So just so for everyone else to know, I want my goal is to get to have the art into New York MoMA or San Francisco MoMA. So I sat down with ChatGPT in its early iterations and ran all sorts of computations and questions and conversations through it. And we developed a 5-year plan together on what it's going to take to get myself there. And I'm on track. We've ended year 1, and I've met every benchmark so far. Year 2 now is going to be about getting more things in local galleries, so I can have some more local exposure. But the digital galleries and the worldwide presence, all of those things were met, as well as making the money that I needed to make to continue on my lavish lifestyle of luxury.
Great. I love it. I love it. All right. So we got some more folks here. Kimberly, welcome. Good to see you. You're muted. There you go.
There I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey,
so
everybody.
Just introduce yourself and tell us, what you do and what you're going to be doing for Festivus.
Okay. So my name is Kimberly Offord, and I am happy to be here. I'm new to the group and really happy to be amongst shall I say the cool kids. And
these are the cool kids. It's true.
yeah. But my workshop that I'm going to be doing is photorealistic images and video, and I am dissecting the recent video that I did for Layla Hathaway. I did her tunnels video. She commissioned me to do that video for her new her album that's out now and was just nominated for a Grammy. And did that video, and I'm going to dissect it and just kind of talk about a little bit of that process of that workflow process. And and there are a lot of people who are doing this and they're not as great as CJ. And they're trying to figure out, hey, how can I make a living of this? I'm pretty halfway good, and just what are the opportunities that are out there? So I'm going to talk about that just a little bit, and try to kind of dig into the video a little bit. But I am a marketing and branding person at heart, and at birth, I guess you could say. And I just kind of fell into this AI world and the AI world of images and storytelling. So that's me, and that's who I am.
Do you have a visual background prior to the AI stuff?
So I've always been a creative all my life, but I've been an avid art collector. And avid, art collector of original art. If you walk into my house, that's all you see is the original art, all over the place. Looks like a museum.
So like you know what you like. So you have an eye.
I have an eye. I have an eye and an ear, because I try to. A lot of what I do is inspired by music, and if the music doesn't inspire the image inspires what music I put with it. And so, I took piano lessons as a kid, but I was never good enough to be a professional musician, So that's where it all comes from.
My dog sings better than I do. So I relate.
I've heard your dog. I've heard him.
The dog's killing it. Like, he could have gotten into Juilliard, but he was a bit of a punk. No, one of the things I'm really excited about is I think that there's going to be kind of 3 kinds of people that emerge out of this AI stuff. And, the first is going to be just people that resist it. And I feel bad for them. And part of why we do this is to get as many people up to speed as possible. And then some of the people are going to be people who were artists before and leverage AI to like really amplify their creativity. And then the third is going to be people who were not necessarily doing whatever the discipline was before, programming, art, writing, whatever it might have been, but have a desire to do that. Now all of a sudden they can. And I think the innovation we're going to see from those latter two groups, I think, is fascinating. So I'm super excited for you. That's really awesome. Really, really glad to have you here. Let's see. Let's go with Nate St. Pierre. You look like you're in a monk. You're in a monastery. You got the books.
Yeah, I don't think.
Nate? Good to see you.
Good. I don't think monasteries have these books though. Yeah, good to see you guys too. It's fun to check in with you guys like once a week or something. It's nice to get out of my cave for a minute.
Yeah, it's good.
See real people.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you're going to be teaching folks during Festivus.
I don't know if I'm teaching so much. I'm kind of like comic relief, I think. I'm just going to do a creative session and just have fun and show people what's possible, going from zero to, well, my background is kind of like a couple of you guys have a marketing background in general, but been doing AI for about a year off and on. But the thing I'm kind of presenting on is a couple of my tools have gone kind of big over in the Hollywood land for screenwriters. So people are using them to make movies. And I have a bunch of world building. I started with some world building stuff a year ago, and then that translated into script development stuff for editors out in LA way. So that's kind of what I'm presenting on, just like how to go from one line of a thought in your head to fully developed plot, characters, research, world building, physics, culture, just rapid ideation and exploration of ideas. And all my writing tools, they do everything but write. None of them will actually write for you at all, because writers write and AI should help do everything else, I think. I mean, personally, I don't really care if AI writes a book for me. If I enjoy the book, I'll read it one way or another. But most writers write because they want to write.
Right.
That's what they do. That's why they do it, right? Like they don't want AI writing for them. So I'm building tools that the WGA likes and isn't striking against. They're actually like, I'm giving power to the writers to expand their worlds and run down, break down show ideas from one season to the next in a rapid succession with a writer's room of 4 people, and you can explore 4 different seasons of a show with 4 different ideas all in the space of an hour, rather than breaking that out over a course of a week or so, and then you can write to what you want. So my session is just going to be about creating story, people, and then I dabble in Midjourney a little bit. I'm not an expert in any one thing really, but I'm kind of good at putting everything together. So I'll show some of the bridge programs I wrote to convert, like if we're doing a character sketch over here in the writing app, we can quickly convert that to Midjourney language to output very quickly, like character sketches that work. Mm-hmm. And so in the space of 30 seconds, you can go from ideation to illustration. Yeah. So it'll just be fun.
Love it. Yeah. Nate's another one who sells himself a little short sometimes, just in terms of, he's talking about these tools in a kind of less formal way. They're very, very impressive tools. You had a story when we talked at an office hours a week back. You said something about like one of the screenwriters you were talking to was a little skeptical and was like, well, let me see what you can do with this. And he gave you a script or something. And can you just tell that, like you turned it around really quick? And what was his response?
Maybe the one you're talking about is, so I'll tell you this, as a result of these tools I've built, I've done now over a dozen live sessions with like screenwriters, directors, and producers you would recognize from like legit billion-dollar box office shows, and every single one of them have said this is better than anything we have in Hollywood right now for these tools. Wow. And I have not read one single page of any one of their scripts, and I've done live developmental editing sessions with them.
That's so awesome.
And the tools, the tools that we have available to us. Yeah. I'm a bit of a writer and editor in my real life, so I can bridge that gap and work the tools, but it's the machines that are doing the work, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize the strength of these properly architected and properly system prompted, that you can make magic happen for people. Yep. And it just blows their mind. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually worked with the one I think you're talking about is there was a developmental editor. He does this for a living.
That's right.
He helps writers with their scripts,
Yeah.
professional writers.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
he said he was skeptical because someone had told him about it. So he said, why don't you do a demo? I'm going to bring you a script I'm going to bring you a screenplay that I have never published on the web. So AI doesn't know anything about it. And we'll just see what you can do in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I just showed up blank and was like, all right, give me your script. Let's do it. And at the end of the hour, he was like, this is multiple times better than anything I provide my clients. So I want to sell this into Stage 32, which was one of the biggest script development firms that he works for.
Wow.
So right now that's in the process of being sold. Who knows? Those guys are all just about raising money and like spending other people's money. Like it is so frustrating working out there. Honestly, there's very few people actually building things and more people just trying to raise money around things.
Yeah.
It's like by the time you raise $2.3 million and get all this, like you have a 3-year plan to build all this stuff, you're going to be behind. I feel behind and I'm ahead,
Right. Exactly.
compared to the rest of the world. And I still feel behind.
Well, that's I think a really important point, Nate, is that one of the remarkable things about the AI Salon, and she leads AI and this whole community and all of you, is that I think all of us to a person don't feel like we're experts at anything right now, right? I think we're all just trying to like figure it out and like we're making these little incremental steps of understanding. We get a little bit better in this direction or that, and then we drop this off. What I think something that is very easy to forget is that we're making incremental steps in technology that is advancing exponentially. And so for us, this is like the relativity of time. This is like relativity of capabilities, where for us, it feels like little incremental changes. But for someone who hasn't even played with AI, to see that it can it can read 4 different scripts and compare them from 4 different writers' points of view instantly, like no one knows that's possible, right? I think they're thinking of whatever they thought AI was before. Like that's how GPS works. They don't know what it means. They just think it's some nebulous thing. And when they see it can actually apply to them in this dramatic fashion, it's, so I think for AI Festivus, again, I think each of us to a person individually are going to be like, oh, I'm just putting out this little thing that I do. But, don't forget, with 2,500 people, when was it? 4 months ago, 47% of Americans hadn't even heard of ChatGPT yet. So there's probably going to be a fairly significant population over the next 2 days that are just going to have their mind blown session after session after session after session. So pat yourselves on the back for just being in the conversation, because it's really important. And speaking of that, Tracy, welcome. You're going to talk to us about safety. We're all out here pushing the boundaries of this thing and trying to break things. We'd love to just hear a little bit about you, and I'm really excited for your panel and catch us up on what you're going to talk about.
Okay, I am Tracy, the safety lady. I've been in the safety business for 29 years. I speak across the country. I create content internationally. And I host the country's only real estate safety podcast. And every conversation I must weave AI in, because it's important in the real estate world. I just got a job as a workforce development instructor. And so I am saying use AI. I use it every day. I use it for things that I never thought I should use it for. For example, at the grocery store, there is a deli counter and they have the best salad ever. And I'm thinking, I go in and buy the salad every day. Why don't I take a picture of the label, ask ChatGPT to create a recipe, do the nutritional information, and it's blowing my mind. I am not a cooking girl, but I'm kind of sort of getting into cooking now that I can do things like that. So basically from teenagers, I'm a lead on a project for STEM to keep kids from 7 to 17 up to date on code. And I'm the one that teaches cybersecurity part of it. I talk to senior citizens. So what I do is I encourage everyone to use the tools, use all of the tools, any of the tools, but use them safely. So people don't understand that the information you put in there is public information. So I have to talk to them about not putting personal, financial, or proprietary information in the tools. redact that information, but still create whatever it is you need to create. I talk to them about how to use it to increase their business, how to create content that's going to help them generate leads and to build their business using safety. And then the interesting part that people find that I do is I do show and tell. I talk about how cyber criminals use the tools to scam and defraud us, how they use them to create deep fakes, phishing emails, social engineering. So I have to show and tell. And when people see it, they don't believe it. So my job is to say, be alert, be aware that criminals are using these tools, and here's what they're doing. Here's what you need to watch out for, because most of these are the crimes that are being committed, they're preventable, and they're preventable with education. So that's what inspires me.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. I just brought Jim Ross up on stage. Jim, I'll get to you in a second. And I see Joe is backstage, but you don't have your camera or mic on, so I can't add you to the stage because I don't know, StreamYard won't let us see you unless we can see you, apparently. But if you can figure out the camera thing, maybe log out and log back in if it's not there. Before I get to Jim, if you're wondering, who the hell are these people? And where's the dog? The dog already sang. The dog already sang. We're not bringing the dog back. But for the next 2 days, starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, is AI Festivus. So the people you see on stage are some of the 34 people that are going to be presenting over 2 days. We've got 24 sessions. So it's basically 12 hours each day, 9 to 9 Pacific time, Friday and Saturday. Doesn't cost a thing. Go find out more information. You can read all of everyone's impressive backgrounds and what they're going to be talking about at aifestivus.com. Go register. We thought we'd maybe have 300 or 400 people. We've had more than 2,500 people sign up for this thing. 2,500 people. So I don't know how many are going to show, but it's a lot. So no pressure to any of you on the call here. But Jim, good to see you, sir.
You too.
So do me a favor. Introduce yourself to people and just tell them what you've been up to with AI and what you're excited to talk about tomorrow in the session.
Yeah, well, I've been.
Are you tomorrow or you're Saturday? I think you're tomorrow, aren't you?
I think I'm Saturday.
Oh, you're Saturday. Okay, fine.
I am, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't memorize the schedule.
Well, it's hard to when you got 1 billion people on there. It's awesome.
Exactly.
No, I'm just gonna have it tuned in all day long and just kind of have it play in the background while I'm
That's
working.
it. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I'm Jim Ross. I own a company called 3 Mile Storage Management. I know it's like, what do you want? Why do you have a self-storage guy on an AI event? But I think I'm kind of in here just to kind of showcase that, man, you can have AI in anything. If I can put it and weave it into my storage business, you can figure out how to do it in your business in one way, shape, or another. And I've just been playing around with it since day one. When ChatGPT kind of came out, it was on my radar. And I just started just playing and just kind of being, you always say I'd be curious, same thing. I'm always curious and just trying to try something new at least once a week, but I kind of like just getting that muscle going. I'm just actually using it on a daily basis.
Yeah, you do. You do it like a practice. Like you turn on the coffee maker, right, and then just do like an hour of AI.
I have this little timer. I put the timer on my desk, and for 60 minutes, as that's going, I have AI, and I'm just trying different things. I'm in Midjourney. I'm doing images. I'm doing prompts. I'm writing blogs. I'm doing YouTube thumbnails, whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing. I get notes from Jim. I get notes from Jim regularly where he's like, "Hey, Kyle." I'm like, "What?" he's like, "I want another client." I'm like, "What'd you do this time? You want to tell people some of the things you've done to win clients?" Because it's bizarre. Like it's the kind of thing, Jim, where it's like, I don't think anyone on this call, I don't think anyone in the world could imagine that you could do what you do, right? To win clients. Share a couple of stories, because I think they're so fun. For one thing,
fun. I mean, you wouldn't think, but it's highly competitive in property management. It's a competitive industry, and when they're kind of raising their hands and they're interviewing different management companies, they got to stand out some way, shape, or form, And one that comes to mind is I was talking with this client, and he was actually in the car wash business, but he's also does storage. And it was his first time in the storage. And I don't think I even told you this whole story. But anyway, as we were talking, basically the whole foot in the door is my background. As crazy as it sounds, just having like the AI background, that's the first thing people say is like, "Ooh, I like that." I'm like, yeah, I was just kind of, dinking around and made this on AI, and it's pretty cool, huh? They're like, "Oh, really, AI?" And so that kind of gets them talking about it. Well, this guy was talking about his car wash, and so I made him a jingle. I went in Suno and kind of created a whole thing for him for his car wash business. So I'm like, hey, I think you might like this. Love to, we'll continue the conversation about your storage business, but you already have this business going, and I thought you might like it. He emailed back right away. He's like, cool, that was awesome. See you on Monday. You got the contract for property management. Like, that was awesome. And then literally just today, another one that came up is over the weekend. I was kind of playing around with, I wanted to do like a 30-second promo for videos for storage businesses. So I, made the images, put it in a Runway to kind of animate it, put them together, had 11 Labs do the voiceover, put that on top of it, had Suno do some background music. So it was all in AI, put it together it took me about an hour and a half once I kind of got the ball rolling. And literally today I was talking to someone that has 3 properties, and she was just like, what can I do to stand out? I'm in this market, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, here's something I just threw together. I played it for her. She was like, that was awesome. Can I use it? I'm like, yeah, I'll make you 1 to 2 seconds. So I slapped her logo on it, gave it to her. That's client that I can directly attribute to just being curious and passionate about AI.
Yeah,
I think it kind of rubs off, and they can see that going, oh, you're actually on the right path. You're not like afraid of it. And at least you can kind of see the future where things are going. And I think that's winning me clients.
Yeah. It's also, Jim, though, it's, I noticed this with Kelly Camp. I noticed this with a lot of people that are doing well with AI. You don't make it about the AI. You make it about, you listen to the person and what they're trying to do. And then you're just like, I know enough of the AI to go, let me just go do that. They can't understand how you did it that fast, right? And that it probably leads to the AI conversation. But what you're actually doing is giving them something valuable to them, right? That they know should have taken a week, and they just experienced it taking 10 minutes or an hour, whatever it was, right?
Well, that's what's so cool, because you can customize things to them and make it valuable to them and make it personal, that it just blows everything else out of the water. And it's just showing that little extra 10% of like you actually care and are listening to what they're doing in business. And you can implement that in AI in 2 seconds, and man, you stand out.
Yeah, amazing. Well, let me open it back up to the other folks that are still here. Michelle, Tracy, Kimberly, Nate. What are your thoughts? Any thoughts in just listening to all the people that have talked so far?
I have a thought, which is, I think it's been repeated a few times. It's just that I think the people who are presenting the people in this room are just people who are trying things and not afraid to test or play or fail or break things. And that's really, I mean, if you started a year ago, which is what I did, and you just spend, like Jim, you said you just spend an hour a day or whatever. It's like, if you just spend some time messing with these tools, you rapidly learn what works, what doesn't, what you enjoy, what you're good at, what the tools are good at. And then you find a lane, and pretty soon, since all this stuff is so new, we're kind of experts in our lane as much as you can be, which isn't a ton right now, but it's
exactly. It feels so fragile right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like that's amazing, Nate. Like, it's like a year ago you weren't doing anything, and now you've got someone from Hollywood going like, your tool is better than anything we've got in Hollywood. And it's just like,
yeah.
Well, okay.
And now that's the secondary product, and the main product is launching in a couple of weeks, which I think is going to be my exit strategy for life for building and selling a company.
Amazing.
And it's like, And I even took a 4-month break from AI too. I was only half-assing it for like.
Yeah, you kind of checked out for a bit.
I half-assed it for 4 months and played around. Then I took 4 months off, and then I've only really been doing it for 6 months. And like, it's crazy how much you can accomplish if you're focused on what you want to do. And I'll say this too. So I look at all your stuff, Kimberly. I was looking at your stuff, and it's like, so I'm a creative too, and I have been my whole life. And I love what like CJ's doing and Kimberly's doing that stuff. And I would just like to play around and do that.
Yeah.
But I can only focus so much of my time, and I want the output of what I want to accomplish. So it's like I'm leaving and there's so much stuff exploding around us right now in terms of tech, and it's advancing so quick in all these different areas. And I want to be shiny object syndrome, but I'm not, because I need to be focused on what I want to do. Yep. But it sucks that I'm leaving on the table all these cool things I could be doing that are just super fun, but I know I'd just be scatterbrained all over the place. So I'm not doing them right now. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like an embarrassment of riches out there.
It is.
But I like seeing what you guys are doing, because it's like, oh, that's what I would do if I had like time to focus on it.
That's again that thing that everyone that I know in AI thinks that the thing they're doing is just this small little thing that's not super impressive, because they know what's possible, and then someone else sees it and just goes, "What? You can do that?" Like they've never considered it. It's just amazing. Kimberly, Tracy, or Michelle, anything popping for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, you say you have a timer to say how long you're going to be on AI. I need a timer to tell me to stop. And so
exactly.
Oh my God. I mean,
the shock collar, right?
It's like an all night thing. You go down the rabbit hole and that's it. I'm gone, and so I've been doing the images for 2 years now. And you're right. I look at what I do, and it's this thought I had. It's this image that, I had in my brain. And then I started to realize everyone else, first of all, the storytelling was touching a lot of people. And I realized that, Kim, what you're doing, like 75% of the population does not know how to do that, or doesn't have the ability to articulate whatever it is creatively that they have in their brain. And so, yes, what you're doing is definitely unique. And, I have to stop myself from going down that rabbit hole and getting buried in that rabbit hole. And I think that is one issue that all of us have, because we're so excited and we're so immersed in what is AI. But I mean, like, I do trainings, and before I can even get the presentation done, I got to do it all over again, because something has changed and someone has introduced something new, and I have to redo it. But I always tell everyone that that wants to get involved, find 2 or 3 that you can really bury yourself in, master those, and find a niche for yourself, and then, use what will build that, and then go for it. And be unique, do something different, because we are still actually in the early adopters phase. And I liken that. I liken that to, what would you all have done if you had been able to put $5 on Apple when it was a box?
Yeah. That's
good. Where we are.
I think your point of, like, you feel like you're running down a rabbit hole so much that you're getting buried in it, and you want to find some others. And I'm in this weird place where I'm like, yeah, maybe I could make a fusion reactor. You know what? I should probably cure cancer. I'm like as the tools are getting more capable, I'm like, I can do it all. I'm a wizard. And it's like, no, you actually you do need to, like, it's one of the scary things about AI, is that you can get to 80% essentially instantly. And that, the next 10% is really hard. The next 5% above that's really hard. And that last 5%, like getting something that you actually want to put in the world, I'm finding it is essentially the same amount of work as if I had started from scratch, right? To really get something there. But I can just do so many more. I can run down so many more rabbit holes to get there. So.
And real quick, let me say this real quick and I'll let everyone else talk. So
Yeah.
Jim said something very interesting where he's showing his clients all these, he's pulling out all his bells and whistles and doing magic tricks, right? And I understand because it's magic, and I do it all the time where someone will say, "Can you do such?" And I'll be like, okay. And it takes 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and it's like, wow, what is this? And that's just the magic in it. And then showing somebody else how to do it and seeing their eyes light up. That's what I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, in here we call it giving them their first Kevin McAllister moment from Home Alone.
Yeah,
that moment, right? Mr. K, welcome up on stage. Really excited to have you here. So Mr. K is, Matt, we can call you Matt, but known as Mr. K on TikTok, is an educator. Just introduce yourself and tell people what you're going to be talking about and what you're excited about these days.
Sure. Thanks for putting me on the screen here. I appreciate it. I literally opened up my phone and I saw 3 different versions of your live on LinkedIn and TikTok. And so I had all these different notifications. And then I saw you were up there and I'm like, hey, why wasn't I invited? And thank you, Brandon, for getting me in.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, and unlike probably a lot of people, it is 11:07 p.m. for me. So it's a little late, but everybody's sleeping upstairs. So I'm good. But I am Mr. K, Matt Carabinos. I teach in Central Pennsylvania, and I became obsessed with AI pretty quickly. Later than most people, though. I did not jump on ChatGPT right away. I waited about 6 months because I was in the we're going to get Skynet crowd right away. And I was a little freaked out by the things that it could do even then early on. And then I made a quiz because I was running out of time at the end of the marking period. And it made me a 10-question quiz in less than 2 minutes. I put it up on the screen and gave my kids a Post-it note, and I had the grade that I needed to put in the book. And that's all I needed to put a grade in the book. I wanted it to be a nice, easy thing at the end of the year. And I was like, wow, it did that really easily. I wonder what else it can do. And here we are. I became obsessed with AI pretty quickly. Now I am using AI to help me pretty much redesign how I do teaching in my classroom. I'm tired of the teaching from a book, which a lot of people still fall into. I'm tired of the kids sitting in, desks or, little clusters or whatever. So I'm looking to totally redesign how I do my teaching. And so I did a deep dive into building thinking classrooms. I read the book, but then beyond the book, I actually developed now with AI projects, with ChatGPT's projects, I've developed a whole project that is based around his way of thinking and his modeling of how he does designs for his classroom. And I have it help me kind of follow along with my curriculum and design tasks for my kids to do. So I'm using it to redefine how I do education and redefine how kids are assessed. And anything that I can contribute to the world of getting away from standardized testing for students, I will gladly contribute.
Well, here, and I mean, it's just, listen, I think that critical thinking is going to be the skill moving forward. That is the requirement is going to be, you're going to have to be able to use your brain to synthesize all these capabilities that are in front of you. And I think it's super important. About, what was it, 9 months or so ago, your administrators found out that you were teaching the devil's work, as they put it, or whatever it was.
Correct.
And they said you couldn't even talk about it. Has that shifted, or did you move schools?
So I have not moved schools yet. I am still technically not allowed to discuss AI at all with my students.
Staggering. I find that
however,
blasphemous.
However, I have no idea how this happens. You know, my kids just magically start being curious and asking questions about AI in class. And it is my civic duty as a teacher to actually teach them. So
answer their questions.
Can't help it. Most of them also found me on TikTok. So they hear what I talk about all the time. And I was very disheartened at, I think it was about 2 months ago, we got an email that AI was banned in the high school officially. Totally. And again, like my big thing that I'm trying to do in my area, my school doesn't really want to listen to me about it, which is fine. That ship has sailed. But the other schools in my area are curious. So I am working through an organization right now called the Intermediate Unit 8. They're like, it's like the State Department of Education, and then
it sounds like
intermediate units are like right underneath that. And they go by regions. So I'm teaching teachers in my region. Weirdly, no teachers or admins from my school, but from other schools in the region, I am teaching them about AI and slowly beginning the conversation of introducing it, because that whole mindset of banning ChatGPT or banning AI, it comes from not understanding what it can do.
Totally.
And not understanding how to work with it. So
totally. It's staggering. I mean, it's the most profound knowledge tool in the history of humanity. And educators are like, well, we don't want to use that. I'm like,
yeah, right.
What?
Well, I always tell people, I'm like, well, if AI can do your assignment for you, then you should be doing something different.
Yep.
Is how I'm trying to frame it now.
Yep, love that.
And, you know, maybe writing papers isn't all that important anymore.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's a whole bunch of other things that we could be doing here. But again, the first step is just getting these teachers to understand what it is so that they can be able to, you know, teach their kids about it. And I make the argument to teachers all the time that if students knew another option to use AI for, then the students would use it in that way. Right now, any student, any person, like even myself, I think to myself, if AI can do this for me, hell yeah, I'm going to let it do it for me. If it's just as good or better than what I can do, absolutely, I'm going to do that. Yep. So I cannot fault any student, especially middle schoolers, for wanting to do the same thing. That's totally unfair. You know, Mr. K, why are you going to have us do this when AI can just do it for us?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I wish more students would ask me that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like discussing that, there's your critical thinking opportunity, right? Let's talk through that, or what's it good at? What's it bad at? All that sort of stuff. Awesome.
And just one more thing before I skip over.
Yeah.
To the critical thinking. I recently posed this question to my students before we went on Christmas break. I said, if AI can do everything that you can do, or maybe everything you can do better than you can do, then what good are you? I asked them that question, and they're 11 and 12 years old. So after about a minute of perplexed looks on their faces, I had a kid actually tell me it can't give you a hug. It can't give you a high five.
Yep.
And another kid said, because we talk a lot about empathy and emotion, another kid said empathy, doesn't have empathy, doesn't know what empathy is. So they get it. We just have to talk to them about it. That's all we have to do is just talk to them about it and not be afraid.
Yeah, that's great. Jim, I know you got to take off, but any final words before you blast on out of here?
No, I'm just excited. It's going to be a fun, jam-packed couple of days. I'm excited, not just about myself, but to meet everybody else and make some new friends. So it's going to be a blast.
Great. Beautiful. Michelle, Tracy, any final thoughts?
I do. I want to talk a little bit about what Mr. K was saying about kids using it. My granddaughter's in high school. I'm here in the Kansas City area. My granddaughter's in high school and they will not allow it. And I am saying you guys are going to be left behind because this isn't going anywhere. Fortunately, I was hired by a school district in the area to go in and talk to the teachers and the administrators. And I think what Mr. K said is right. They don't understand it. They're afraid of what they don't understand. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about and I hate to be the bad, the person talking about the bad, but I have to be realistic, so I have to explain to them, if the kids are going to use it and they should be using it, find ways to have them show their work, find a way to have them use it, but more importantly, explain to them how not to use it. And there are so many news stories with kids in the headlines where they're committing sexploitation on their fellow students because they're using it offline and they're putting their fellow students' faces on, and then they're sharing those inappropriate images, and that could get them in trouble, get them put in jail. So I'm saying parents and teachers need to understand that. They also need to understand that the cyber criminals are out there using the tools, pretending to be something that they're not, even if you're looking at someone that might not be who you're looking at. So there's a conversation that has to be had. So I think the way to solve the school problem is to educate the teachers and the administrators, and I am on a mission to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm the lead on an organization where our goal is to reach at least 300 students and to teach them. My job is to teach them the cybersecurity part of it, how to use it safely, how to keep your information private, and how the bad guys are using it and how they're coming for you. So I think education is the key. And for our students to not have this knowledge, my nephew is he just finished his freshman year in college. He doesn't understand it. So I'm talking to him and he's like, why is my aunt keep talking? This is the holiday. And it's like, no, you need to understand how important it is that you know about this. Use this as part of your future. So I'm on that bandwagon too.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. And it's, listen, that's what this weekend is all about. Like, hopefully we have 300 students, let's say out of the 2,500 that are RSVP'd, let's say half of those show up. That's 1,200 people, Let's hope that a third of those are students, because you may have an opportunity to at least reach 300 of them tomorrow, or whatever your session is. So that's awesome, fantastic. Michelle, what are your thoughts?
I'm connecting all of this back to what both you and Cindy were saying earlier. I mean, Cindy was saying herself, and Matt and I are not alone in this, because I've had a few exchanges with Matt on LinkedIn. It's like, okay, deep breath. You get so frustrated with school, and education is notoriously not first to adopt things, and they go very slow because of some of the cautions that Tracy brought up. But even connecting it to government, as Cindy brought up earlier, it's oftentimes the consequence of, you spent a lot of time telling everybody this was bad. You spent a lot of time telling everybody, oh, that's the lazy way out. I think Nate even talked about that. There was a lot of suspicion initially in multiple industries. And now we're coming to this with the hopes that, with this event, we can just learn collectively. That was one of the things one of the reasons why I started the podcast, was because people wanted to learn more about what was going on, who's doing this, where can I find out more information? And so this idea of bringing people to the table that are willing to talk about it, like we all are doing over the next 2 days, I think it's vital that we take advantage of this. And I'm so grateful that it's free. I get to sit in on Matt's session and listen and pick his brain and talk to him. I get to sit with Tracy and think about all of these different things, learn from Nate, learn from Kimberly. It's just going to be, I think, one of those priceless opportunities that we need to have more and more of to get to that tipping point where we can get past the fear.
Yep. And I think, that the student of Mr. K's that, was quick on the draw of it can't give you a hug. I mean, I think part of what we'll experience tomorrow in Festivus is every person that speaks is going to humanize some other aspect of AI, right? So especially for people who are just afraid of it, or just mad at it, right? Or just whatever they might be. I was told it was evil, so therefore it's evil. Whatever that is. I feel like every one of those that someone experiences is another person with like, oh, well, Nate was kind of cool. Like he had a cool book collection, right? Like every one of us humanize another piece of this. And so hopefully this becomes an on-ramp, not just for the education piece, like how do I use AI, but like even how do I think about AI is where I think we've got massive impact that is going to happen this weekend. So with that, let me just
say one more thing.
Final words, and then we'll get you all out of here.
Matt, I dabbled in your realm for a second. Last week, I have a friend he's a full-time blogger, makes a living doing it. He's been successful for like 10 years. He has a few learning barriers, and he was just talking about in one of his latest posts about how he's been trying to use ChatGPT to help him learn differently. And I was like, that's really cool. Let's get on a call and I can build you a tool that can adapt to any of 5 or 10 different frameworks of learning, whatever you choose, however you like it reflected back to you, however you like to learn and investigate. So we had a fun 2.5-hour session of just exploring. And I've built a bot called the constructor bot that helps me build other bots instantly. And it just, because that's what I do for a living kind of now. So like I'm feeding our data into constructor bot of what we need, and it's interviewing us and asking questions, and we're talking about it, and it's formulating this product or this tool. And at the end of the day, we built it and I gave it to him, and it's like, then we spent 30-40 minutes just playing with it and learning things in a fun way. And it's like, I'm excited for teachers at this time because you can build things that get your kids' imaginations fired up in a different way than they're used to. And maybe some kids learn differently than others, but this will help them. Right. Absolutely. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, I stepped outside of my comfort zone for a second because we wanted to do something pretty old school in education. Me and another teacher wanted to teach our kids math facts and get them to memorize them, which memorizing has kind of gone away. And it shows. So I had Claude. Well, I started with Claude, and then I used ChatGPT Canvas to write me a simple HTML game that asked the kids random multiplication facts. It had a 1-minute timer, and then it gave them a score at the end, which was digits correct per minute. And we used that data to see how much they've grown over, each day.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing this thing. And it was following the framework of another program, but this guy had it done in person, and you had to check every kid's thing every day. We did it one day. It took us like 3 hours at night to check every kid's, and that was one day. And we had to do this every day. And we're like, yeah, that's not happening. So I said, let's build something with it. And we did. And I know zero. I know nothing about coding at all. And it was just like, here you go. And then I'm like, I literally asked it, how do I use this? It's like, here, do this. And I did it and it worked. And I was like, okay, cool.
But you knew the most important thing. You knew what you wanted to accomplish. I mean, that's sort of the thing. Like, Kimberly, right? She's got a vision. She's like, she knows she's got this thing in her head, and she knows where she wants to get to. And then the trick is, like, I kind of feel like, the education thing, it's like, the librarian, when you're sitting in the library, use your words, it's like, I feel like we're just in that thing, like, just learn to use your words with these tools and know what you want. And then just, keep iterating until you figure out how to get there. Michelle, really quickly, someone asked, what's the name of your podcast? I think they want to check out your podcast.
Oh, okay. It's Empowered by AI, Women Entrepreneurs Leading the Way.
Great. Well, listen, thank you all so much. I know it's Mr. K, it's very late for you. Whoever's on the East Coast, my apologies, because I start these things late. So thank you for coming and hanging out. This is great. I'm really excited about the weekend. Let me just throw up this graphic. So if you're out there on the interwebs, go to aifestivus.com. We start at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, so that's 11 a.m. Eastern time. And we pretty much go all day, and then we do it again on Saturday. And it is going to be amazing. It doesn't cost anything. Please, 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 everyone on this who's watching this or who's on TikTok, please share this with someone between now and tomorrow, or a bunch of people. Let's get as many people as we can there. It'd be nice if we had 3,000 registrations. We've cracked 2,500. Maybe we can get to 3,000. So thank you all so much for being here. Let me let you go. I'll get you off stage here, and we'll see you over the weekend.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Good Lord. There you have it. there you have it, people. That was awesome. So thank you all. I know I didn't get to many comments tonight. I was kind of going solo here with a lot of conversations. So if I missed any comments, feel free to either pin comments on TikTok or drop comments in YouTube or Twitter or whatever, and I will get to them. I thought we were 3 hours ahead, not 2. You're 3 hours ahead of Pacific time, 2 hours ahead of where I am. So I'm starting tomorrow at 10 a.m., but it's 9 a.m. Pacific. So that was fun. Excellent. All right, let's go look at some comments. We were all stunned into silence. Yeah, that was a really cool conversation, wasn't it? Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, here's what strikes me about that conversation and everyone in the conversation is everyone is like really down to earth because nobody's really mastered anything yet. Everyone's like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm sort of getting there. You know, that's where we are right now. That's absolutely where we are right now. And I think that's going to be an amazing, I think just that little nugget alone, if you take nothing away from tomorrow, I think one of the things you're going to take away is that why not give it a shot? Like all of these people have just given it a shot, and some, you know, less than a year, right? Some for 2 years. But like that's the biggest window right now is November 30th, 2022. If you were right on top of it, you're 2 years into this thing, right? What's Malcolm Gladwell say? You know, you need 10,000 hours, about 10 years to master something. Well, we ain't close. We're all just starting. So, all right. Let's see. Are there any social posts to share? There's yours. Look, wait. Why is it not showing? There you go. There's your social post to share. It was very reassuring to know that I'm not the only one who is struggling to figure this out. No, I mean, like it was every single person was some version of, you know, Michelle. She wanted to put out this podcast and hope she got people that were interested in it. And all of a sudden there are, and she's just trying to figure out even how to talk about it, what to talk about. Let's see. There are so many people that are going to be speaking. Yeah, it's amazing. Shane Saw registered. Great. Thank you very much. Lori K thinks this is very exciting. Rick loved the hug comment from Mr. K. I thought that was great. It was really good. You know, if AI can do all the stuff you can do, what good are humans? We can give you a hug. And you know, it's funny, as simple as that is, like the answer is yes. Like the value of human interaction goes up. The value of empathy goes up. The value of live performance and authentic experience goes up, right? Maybe the robots free us up. They do all the shitty work that crushes our soul and frees us up to be better humans. That's a very real possibility. And so that was, I like, that's a little bit of what I felt tonight was like, just everyone to a person had this hope and this optimism and just this willingness to go, well, I'll give it a shot. You know, Jim with his timer, right? He's got his timer. He's like, we're going to do it. I mean, yeah, that's it. Just do an hour a day. What's the worst that could happen? You figure something out. Amazing. All right. I'm going to get out of here. AIFestivus.com. AIFestivus.com. Starting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Go register now. Please share this with anyone you know that might benefit from this. We're going to have a networking area on the AI Salon. We've got a dedicated space for Festivus, so you're going to be able to share your work there. You're going to be able to chat with other people there, ask questions. And that's also going to be a resource where all of the recordings are going to be, and the speakers' decks are all going to be housed on the AI Salon. All right. So that's if you haven't been to the AI Salon, go to that address, thesalon.ai, click on join our community, and right at the top you'll see AI Festivus 2024. Go ahead and join that space. It's not auto join, so just go join the salon. And then you can go in and start chatting tonight if you want to. That space is live. All right. So any other thoughts, questions before I get up on out of here? See you at 9 a.m. Good night, people, from Jason. All right. Fantastic. Go to the website, grab some images. Are there social posts to share? If Shane saw, if you go to my LinkedIn at Kyle Shannon on LinkedIn, I've done a fair amount of posts on it. Feel free to just grab any images from posts that I've put up there. But yeah, or you can just go to the website, take screenshots of the website, anything like that. I don't think we have a kit right now because this was put together very, very quickly. So, all right. How can a photon have momentum without any mass? Well, I'll tell you, Joker. Go ask ChatGPT. There's an answer to that, and I could give it to you, but I'm too tired. All right. I will see you guys in the morning. Come one, come all. I am gonna end the stream on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. See y'all later. Thank you. Bye-bye.